Hey folks, this is Tracy with Scrappy's Rustics. Y'all, this comes out so good. And I want to let you know that this is a IOD paint inlay. So parts of this video I did take my time so you could see how to do this if you're going to do it yourself, especially piecing it in opposed to using one big piece. It's a little bit different, takes a little longer and a little, you just got to be a little more patient with it. So this is the rose chintz. It's 8 pages of the same. You can look, I'm showing you upside down. There's some furniture and dresser pieces that are done with different colors, and it just gives it an entirely different look. Pardon the chickens and roosters, y'all. It's a beautiful day here in Florida and the windows are open. So whenever you do a paint inlay, this is black chalk paint. Whenever you do a paint inlay, you want to make sure that your surface or whatever it is you're doing, you're happy with the paint job, because you're going to inlay these into wet paint and there's really no other opportunity. If you miss a spot, yeah, you're going to paint over it again, but just make sure it's the way you like it. That way you can just focus on getting the wet paint down and getting your inlay pieced in. So I decided to start with the biggest part of this duck. Now we picked this up I probably 2 years ago. You could see in the beginning somebody did a really botched paint job on it. It's a Kent, I believe it is. It's like a real wood duck, but whoever painted it before this just destroyed it. So I wasn't sure what to do with it all these years, and I was kind of, torn about painting it, but it was so ugly. I had to do something. So I just decided to do these paint inlays. So that there is wet, or it's paint. So it's activated when you lay it into wet paint. It has to be wet paint. You can do clear, but that's a whole nother video and a whole nother process. So you want to cut your pieces. You want to size them up and have it ready to go, because like I said, you're going to move it into wet paint. It's not like you can pick it up and move it around. Once it's down, it's down. So when you get it down, you want to push it down with your fingers, because you want to make good contact with that, because the carrier sheet is like, if I were to wet the other side of the roses, it would activate the paint and smear. So once you lay it down, push it down in there, and then you want to get a wet rag. Normally I would use a brayer, but we're piecing this one, so I have to really use a wet paper towel. So if you don't have a brayer, a wet paper towel is an option. If you don't have a spray bottle, just a little bottle of water or a bowl of water will work as well. So what I'm doing is, because it's wet on the underside, now we're helping it getting wet to adhere, to transfer from the other side. We're just helping it out, and you'll see as it dries it becomes opaque. But you just want to make sure you have it sized up where you want it, so when you lay that wet paint down, it's in there good. Now, I have found if you put the paint, it depends what piece you're doing and what look you're going for. If you want like a lot of texture, I would go with a thick paint, like make your paint thick. Because what will happen is the paper itself, the carrier sheet, will form like wrinkles in it and waves. And that's how it will dry. But that's good if you want to add waxes and whatnot. It'll just give your piece a lot more texture. In this case, we're not adding any extra waxes or anything at the end. So I didn't go with I didn't mean to go anywhere thick, and it came out pretty good. So the only problem with piecing things is when well, we're going to take this stuff off. You have to seal it, because with a spray sealer, because if you do any type of brushing motion with like a water-based sealer, it's going to just reactivate the paint, and it's going to smear it. So in this case, I just did half the duck, and I went outside and I spray sealed it, and then I continued with the other half. So this took me over a few days. So this dried overnight by itself. You can dry it with your heat tool if you'd like. Either way works. But when it's time to peel it off, you have to wet it again. Now, you could leave this for months in the dry state, and when you're ready, you're just going to wet it and peel off. Now, I had a little difficulty because of the pieces, and I was trying to do it with one hand and hold it up and show you. So it didn't come off as smooth as I would like it to. But you want to make sure when you're pulling this off that there's no tugging. It's just a nice, smooth process. If you get any tugging or resistant, just dampen it up again until, you don't have to saturate it, but it just needs to be moist in order. Look at that. That is that paint just inlaid into that other paint. Like, y'all, this process here doesn't get old. It's so trippy to me. I just think it's so cool. It's like a mirror image. So yeah, so it should be a smooth process. Like I said, this doesn't look smooth because I'm picking it. I've only got the one hand. I end up putting it down, but I just wanted you to see up close. And I wanted to take my time in parts of this so you could see the process and you know how it works. Obviously, if you had one big sheet, you would see how much easier it would come off. But there's so many ways to use these. Now, they're reusable as well. So when I peel these off, I lay them down on a piece of cardboard, wet paint side up, and let them dry. Now, because I use black paint, if I go to use this again, now each time you use it, less and less paint's going to come off. It just depends on each application, how much paint. Like that one doesn't look like any came off, and look how vibrant those colors are. I love it on black. But you can use it again, and if you use it again, whatever color you used previously, like I'm using black, that black may come off in my next project. So just be mindful of that. Might be a good thing. I mean, you know, that maybe that's the look you're going for. So look how cool that is, y'all. So just moisten them after they're dry. Whenever you're ready, like I said, they could sit there for months. And when this is dry, then you need to spray seal it. After that, you can do whatever you want to it. You can brush, put sealer on there, whatever you want to do. But at the initial part, spray sealer. If you don't have anywhere to like spray paint sealer, you can do like a liquid mixture of 50% water, 50% sealer. That if you can't get outside to spray, you know, spray the can. So I ended up just doing bits and pieces. Like I said, this did take me over a few days just because of the little pieces and whatever. And his bill, I didn't realize, I thought I was done and it was gorgeous, and I took him outside to take pictures and I was like, what the heck, his bill looks terrible. I never did anything with it. So I ended up bringing him back in. I didn't do it on camera. So there's the two types of clear sprays you can use. Matte sealer, you can use gloss. I ended up painting his beak in the color moss chalk paint, and then I took my paint pen and highlighted the areas. It looks so much better when it's done. Yeah, I went to take pictures. I was like, oh my God, it looks terrible. I was so excited about everything else. Look how pretty that is, y'all. It's unique, one-of-a-kind piece. Just a really cool project. And these paint inlays are really, they're not hard. It's just a process. So if you like my style, I'd love for you to hit that subscription button. Y'all, you never know what kind of video I'm going to come out with. Thank you so much for watching.